Welcome everyone to the Pro Trade Room Plus. Building permits, housing starts, actually Canada CPI. My name is Lee Goldstein, the trading director for 10-minute trades. Please remember all the trades we discuss are for educational purposes. Okay, we're back, and I just want to remind everyone that we're also here for the Canadian CPI report, and I will trade that report. So let me just get a couple of things set here. We are streaming on YouTube, so it took a second to get organized. We did start very, very early this morning with a fantastic Home Depot trade. I think every single person that traded it made money, which is exactly what we want to see. Let me just try and see why sometimes I did get the sound working on the laptop, but it's acting so weird. I'm just going to leave it alone. I hope everyone can hear me. Okay. Ray, I appreciate the update very much on what happened. I don't know how you figured that out. How'd you figure that out? Why was the rhythmic connection lost? Any idea? Or no, that's what you're saying, you don't know. You've opened a ticket. I got you. Okay. Let me just post to everyone on YouTube that we do have a challenge coming up. It's free, and we'll get started. Okay. So we want one of our charts on Canada, 6C, 925. Canada not known for its extremely high liquidity. Now I'm sure that we're on the right contract also. We are no way are we on 12. Only gold at this moment is on 12.25. When you put Canada on the December contract, that's what the chart looks like. You don't ever want to try trading a chart that looks like that, because that's not the way a chart needs to look if you're going to trade it. You need a normal looking chart to trade. Now, you do want to, you don't want your chart to be so spread apart that it's weird. If you want a starting point, you can always click the F. That to me is a starting point. When you click the F, that's the default setup for the chart. I do like tighter charts. Now, Canada is in a very tight range. There's no question it's in a tight range. Let me see if we have a recent Canada CPI report. We should. We definitely should. And we definitely have a setup for it. So the last trade on Canada CPI was July, but it may be one of those that I don't have a video for. I don't see a video, unfortunately. I've got a video in June, but that doesn't really help because there was no fill. And then I've got May. Let's take a look, see if we can find anything to help us with Canada. And we'll check April. And let me grab a couple of building permits. So building permits, we used to have a DMM for it. It's been a while. And it's been a while because it just hasn't been a very big mover. We don't even really test it these days, which we probably should go back to testing it. Because I think that there is going to be a little bit more movement on this report. I think the housing market is pretty important with the Fed, with interest rates, but there's no denying this report pretty much just stopped really moving very much. Almost always when it trades, almost always. That's why today's a little bit unusual. It usually trades with Thursday's unemployment. Okay, so we have some video for building permits. Here was July. July, the news was pretty good. Good news should push gold down. There was a pretty upward trend in gold that morning. And it looks like it pushed gold up. It filled long and then it moved long. Not really the right move for that particular news. When the news is good, normally it should push down. We combined our targets, went for just a small, tried to get a small winner out of it. Ultimately, it did work. Looks to me like it was about a 10 bracket. It was a pretty small bracket. 74.10. See, I'm not happy with these charts either, to be honest, with the resolution. I'm very frustrated with the resolution. Let me see if I can tell 100%. No, but I would use a 10 to 12 bracket depending on the volatility of gold. Our other chart, GC 1225. If you're going to trade building permits, I'm actually more interested in trading Canada CPI. Let me show you June on building permits. Now, June was Thursday, so we can't really even use June as a help because the setup is not meaningful. Okay? It's not the same kind of setup. We don't do the same type of trade. Building permits is not a trap trade. Let's take a look at May and see what happened in May. That's why videos are great. May, building permits, pretty much by itself. It did have a little bit of trade balance, import prices. Now we had an NQ setup, which I'm not crazy about. And then the gold setup was a 12 bracket. No, wait. Let's see what that shows. Looks like we used MGC on it. So I know what I'm going to do, so I don't need to see what we did in particular on this. If I think it's going to move, here's the way I'm going to trade it. Now gold, I want to take a look at gold on a longer term chart just to see where it's at since last night. So looking at gold on a 15-minute chart, it's definitely trending up, but there's quite a bit of chop. From 10 p.m. last night, I mean, if you're going to draw trend lines, it is an upward trend with plenty of chop in there. I don't think it's trade affecting, if you know what I mean. And over the past couple of minutes, it's been pulling back. So for building permits, housing starts gold, I would not trade this in a best of the best account. This would be in a newer or a riskier account because it's not the greatest report at the moment. It doesn't have a good recent track record because we haven't been trading it enough. So it's really a report we're looking at. We're keeping an eye on it. We want to see how it does, but because we have prop accounts, I'm definitely going to trade it in a prop account. I think I'll try to I'll trade it in my worst prop account because I want to get that. I don't think this is a disaster, but I don't think if I made money today, I would not be trading it in the account I made money in because I don't think it's a phenomenal opportunity profit at the moment. It has to prove that. Okay? It has to prove that. I'll use targets of 8 and 20. I'll use a stop of 15. All right? And I'll first look at a bracket of 12. If I can shrink it to 10, I'll try to do that. So 8:29:59 is my trigger time. It's an 8:30 event. I'll label it BRKGC. So the first thing I'm going to do is leave it on sim, put the time on 0, put my chart trader on sim, and that's a good bracket to manage a trade. That's a 12 bracket, and I believe that's where I'm going to leave it. If we can't get a viable move with 12 little ticks of gold, then it really means this report doesn't have much impact. 12 ticks, you could see gold's got plenty of volatility. We're coming into the gold open at 820. We do need our news. It's very difficult Philly news. There's no question that Zach Wheeler, with one of the top 3 pitchers in baseball, is out for the season with a blood clot in his pitching shoulder. He's had a surgical procedure yesterday where they dissolved the blood clot. If you know anything about blood clots, you have to go on blood thinners, and you can't play baseball on blood thinners. You can't play pro sports on blood thinners. And it's months of blood thinners. It's not a minor injury. It's very serious stuff. And he's out. They haven't announced it, but it's 100% he'll be out for the season. That is a shame. Anytime, first off, you worry about someone's life when you're dealing with blood clots. This is not a small deal. J.R. Richard, when I was a youngster in the late 70s, early 80s, told the Astros he didn't feel well. His arm felt heavy. They ignored him. They thought he was a shirker. He wasn't. He was one of the greatest fireballing starting pitchers ever. But very honestly, the way they treated the black players in those days wasn't the way people are treated today. And he wasn't believed. And he had a stroke. He almost died. And he never pitched again. And things are different today, somewhat in most cases, but he was one of the greatest pitchers I ever saw pitch in my life, and it was really a shame. And now they know what can happen, so medically, it's highly unlikely Zach Wheeler will pitch again this year. People forget these athletes are human. They are millionaire humans. They're not like us. They don't go shopping the way we go shopping. They ride around in limos. No one's like us when you make that kind of money. That's the biggest thing that people forget. These are not normal people. They live in the stratosphere of life. Putting my time back to 8:29:59. But ultimately, when it comes down to it, you don't want bad things to happen to nice people. Apply it and okay it. Put our chart trader on number 20. There's a lot of gold volatility this morning. Right now, I would chalk that up to the gold open. All right, that's the gold open. Now, we have a setup on the Canadian trap trade. I'm trading that. I like this Canadian CPI report. I love the fact that we have a setup for it. We have what I think is a pretty safe setup. Uh, if you notice, it's had a lot of trap trades that have been working. Now, let me show the correct DMM also, so bear with me. Here's what I'm going to do. Well, let me tell you what I'm going to do on Canada. Let's make it easy. Let's make it easy. I'm going to set Canada as a trap trade. Right click the chart. Double click trap trade. Calvin, what does that mean? What do you mean? So with a trap trade, we're going to trigger it at 8:29:55. 25 on the stop. It's not a small, actually, I think 20 on the stop is reasonable. And I'm going to do a tier 1. Order number 1 is 20. Order number 2 is 35. Our zone of safety is 55 ticks. Oh, Calvin, I know, but he's a rarity. How do you pronounce his first name? I can't ever pronounce his first name. Kino Reeves. Quinoa Reeves, like quinoa, the food you eat. Kino, whatever his name is. Mr. Reeves, we'll say. Yeah, he rides around on a motorcycle because he's not your normal star. He's not your normal celebrity. He's one of a million, one of 1,000 who acts, well, he acts crazy. He's not like normal. He's just purposely eccentric because that's what works for his persona, you know. But, look, I'm a super famous trade room moderator celebrity. Nobody's as famous as I am. And I'm very down to earth. Very, very down to earth. I'm a stratosphere. I live in the stratosphere kind of person. But no one would know it. No one would know it. I'm going to label this Canada CPI. I'll go over all the setups again. I'm just a cranky old dude. That's about it. I'm a cranky old guy. So, Canadian trap trade. I'm adding a position at position size 1, because I think we're going to get a reversal on this. I'm trading it in my best prop account, but would I trade it in cash? Probably not. Probably not. Especially not if I made a whole bunch of money this morning. Remember, the best of the best. That's the way to make money. The best of the best. There's no micro for Canada. All right? There's no micro for Canada. And very honestly, gold, the building permits housing start, it's not a phenomenal event. And it's an event we're uncertain about because that's the reality for reasons I explained. Doesn't always trade by itself. Hasn't been getting a DMM because of its performance. I just think it's going to start doing better because of the market paying attention to housing, because of the Fed, all the attention we're paying to the Fed right now. So there is certainly a probability it could trade better today. But those aren't the trades you want to trade in your cash account after you made $500 or $600 on Home Depot. No, you might want to sit on your laurels today and maybe trade the MNQ on the open. I could see that, right? That's how I would approach making a profit. Don't trade the crappy reports with cash. Anything can be traded with prop because the whole concept with prop is the risk can be taken because your life won't be ruined if you have to reset a prop account. It's very different than cash trading. 829.55 on Canada, 20 on the stop. Tiers of 20 and 35. We have 2 orders above the current price, 2 orders below on a trap trade. If the price goes up, we sell the market. If the price goes down, we buy the market. That's what a trap trade does. I'm trading it on a good prop account because I like the possibilities for this. And I'm also going to put a reverse continue on both charts. Canada, adding a second strategy, reverse continue. I don't expect to use it. And I'll do a 20 tick target and a 20 tick stop. Remember, for a reverse continuation setup, all you need is a position, a target, and a stop. So I've got 2 positions. I'm going for broke today. A target of 20, a stop of 20. We'll do that in the same account, 17 prop. And don't forget to label it 6C, reverse continue. Now you can trade micro gold if you so choose, especially on a reverse continue. There's no harm in trading reports that have not proven themselves as great breakouts or traps or anything. There's no harm in trading those reports after the news with reverse continuation setups. You don't have to trade a breakout. There's no law that says, hey, got to do a breakout on this. Reverse continues magnets also are great for after the news. I'll do a 20, ironically on gold as well. 20 target, 20 stop, full size gold, 1 position, reverse continue after the news. Label it GC, reverse continue. And why do I trade it in the same account as my main trade? Because you don't have time to fumble around setting up a new chart, moving to a new chart during a report. It's just not feasible. Francis, I truly think that it's the way we want to think all the time. We want to protect our profits. We don't want to avoid trading just because you made money, because you don't want to leave good money on the table either. Um, you want to manage the fear intelligently because we all have fear. Now, Trump is being interviewed on Fox. That's why there's all this commentary. All right, so we've got building permits. Interestingly, they're leading with Canadian CPI on Financial Juice Pro. For folks that don't know some of the tools that we use Financial Juice Pro that is not free, and we use it to listen to their Squawk Box, which is unbelievably valuable all day long. You're privy to the news as it's taking place. And if you're a news trader, you need to make certain investments in your trading. That's one of the ones we make. We buy data for testing replays and playbacks from a company. That's an investment we make. Charts are too spread apart, so shrink them down. The Canadian news missed filling us by one tick. One tick. One tick. I would probably cancel the gold trade. I would cancel the gold trade. Did not get a breakout, and the news is mixed. I would let Canada fill me long only. I will not allow a short trade because the move was down and it didn't fill. Do not let the Canadian trade fill you by moving up. We missed our fill by one tick. Can't do anything about it. And I went with a smaller tier than Chantal wanted to use, and I couldn't get the fill. Couldn't get the fill. We're going to have no fills on both trades. No fills on both trades. You want to cancel gold breakout, and you want to cancel the Canada trap now. It did not fill. There was a quick reversal. The trade's over. It responded to the news. It went right to the low. And I don't think our tiers were in a bad place. We just missed by one tick. And I didn't get the opportunity to pull the order into the price, which I would have done had it gone back down. I would have pulled my order up one or two ticks to get filled long. But it's no big deal if you don't get filled. There's always another trade. That's the thing to remember. There's always another trade. There's always another setup. The only time you get frustrated, the only time you go crying in a corner is if you make a mistake and you don't get filled, or you don't put it on live and you're on sim, or you just get stopped out by one tick. Those are the only times I cry in a corner pretty much. The main things that make me cry in a corner are a mistake. Not getting filled because I made an error in the setup, or not getting filled because I didn't turn my strategy on. But if you don't get filled, you don't cry in a corner because the setup didn't fill you. It doesn't mean the setup is bad. It means the move wasn't big enough. We had a 20 tick target bracket and it moved 19 from where our orders went on the chart. Some people might have gotten filled on that. Okay. So the reason Ray got filled is when one person is not filled by one tick, someone else is going to get filled because orders go on the chart at slightly different times for everyone. Now, Ray, I would be careful here because it's clearly trending down. I might exit with a small profit. because CPI it's actually good news. It's lower than expected, better than the US CPI, but the price is trending down. And usually, and you had your reversal already. We had our reversal, and now it's on a second reversal. It went down and it reversed, and now it's finding possibly a real direction here. So I would be extremely careful if I was in this Canadian trade. So I might just get out flat, to be honest. It's not going to move enough to make sitting in this trade 5 hours worth it, most probably. Okay? That's the reality of this trade. Now, everyone watching on the internet, thank you for joining us. I can't tell how many people are here because my laptop's acting so strangely. I can't adjust it. But I did post a link to our challenge that's coming up next week. You're going to get so sick about hearing about this challenge, but if you want to learn everything there is to know about appointment-based trading, news trading, we're going to cover a lot of it in the challenge. 3 days of education starting next week. We'll finish before Labor Day. I can't believe that next week is Labor Day. It's really the week after, but it's Monday. It's not that far away. It's 2 Mondays from yesterday. I can't believe the summer's over and I got to go back to high school. I can't believe it. Anybody have any questions? Let's look at the video. Um, I don't really see a secondary trade here on anything that I'm willing to take. Gold is dead center in the middle of highs and lows. Canada, you know, if you can get out flat, I'd probably, unless you want to sit in a trade for an hour or two, there's no point in staying in that Canada trade. You might want to give it 5 minutes, see if it'll move up off the low from here, right? That's a possibility. It made a new low on this trade. It might reverse right here. I am watching gold. Gold's a little bit bullish at the moment. I mean, I take that back. Gold has been bearish for the past hour or so. It's a little bit bullish off of the news negative reaction. The news pushed down. It didn't even push down all that much, and now you've got a minor retrace, but it's not a trade here. This is not a trade, in my opinion, on gold. And yeah, I mean, it makes sense, Ray. It's all about, I don't enjoy sitting in a trade this slow for an hour and 10 minutes to make 15 or $25 because let's be honest, Canada's only $5 a tick. Had we gotten filled, we would have had about $100 profit because I added an extra contract. We didn't get filled. You got the squeeze pushing lower. So you really don't have a phenomenal opportunity for a reversal here, looking at the charts. You do have a negative. I take it back. You have a low being created and the possibility of a change in direction because a low's been created. That's the only thing that's working in your favor. Up, our landscaper is here. I hear him. Now I'm trying to think. We have a market open at 9. So because the landscaper's here, rather than torture everyone, I'm going to close the room, come back at 9. I want to thank everyone who's watching us on YouTube. Thank you for joining with us today. And keep an eye, hit the notification bell on YouTube and join our channel so you know the next time we're streaming, because I believe we are streaming tomorrow. Let me double check. Our next stream. is Wednesday. Yeah, tomorrow's FOMC minutes. All right. So I'll see everybody later, 20 minutes from now, so you don't have to listen to our landscaper. And we'll be back at 9 for market open. And YouTubers, thank you for joining us. We'll see you soon.